Welcome back to the channel. I was looking at my old Fundamentals of Analytical Chemistry textbook, the one I used for undergrad Analytical 1 and 2, and was kind of surprised because I forgot that most of the concepts that were taught in that class were based on Excel or some other statistical programming package. And now with the popularity of open source tools like R and Python, it's quite easy to implement some of those solutions using Python or R. And so now I want to go through and show you how we can implement that using real data, teaching fundamental concepts of measurement science using Python. So in this case, I want to focus on the t-test. And of course, I will be using real data. That data will come from the Data in Brief journal from an article called Spectral Data of Tropical Soils Using Dry Chemistry Techniques, a data set for soil fertility. So the goal of this video would be to demonstrate how easily we can perform a t-test analysis or hypothesis test to see if there is a chemical difference between fertile soil and infertile soil for a number of different variables. In this publication, there are a number of different physical variables that are being measured, such as clay concentration, organic matter, cation exchange, pH, and a number of different exchangeable ions for 102 soil samples. And those soil samples come from one of two farms, a farm that is less fertile and a farm that is very fertile. And so those will be the two means we'll compare using the t-test. To begin, I am importing a number of different libraries, so Pandas, SciPy, Matplotlib. And what you haven't seen as often is this t-test from scipy.stats. There are a lot of great methods that can be found here, and we're going to walk through them as we move through this analytical chemistry textbook. The data set is downloaded and locally stored in the directory, and so the data can be easily read in using the pd.readcsv. Data is a text file, so I'm using the text separator, this \t. I'm converting the columns to lowercase. I'm also pulling out the analytes as its own list, and you'll see why I'm doing that later in the video, but this is really to show the power of tools like Python for this sort of analyses. And then lastly, I'm showing the first 5 rows of that data set. And so we can see that this data looks fairly clean. We have an ID for each of the various samples. We have our field, so field will have 2 values, either 1 or a 2, and then a number of different analytical measurements for the various different analytes. So the first thing I want to do is plot this data and get a sense of what the data actually looks like. I'll begin just by plotting the clay values as a box plot and then separate them based on field 1 versus field 2. To do that, I will use the seaborn.boxplot method. And for here, I'll pass for data, I'll pass in df. For x, I'll pass in field. So this will separate each field along the x-axis. And for y, I will pass in clay. I'll also pass in a hue variable, and I'll make that field. And then set the palette. Go to tab 10. This is just a good palette for qualitative data. And so from this figure, it's pretty clear that there is a difference in the mean values of the clay from field 1 versus the clay values from field 2. When we consider the interquartile range or the min-max values, we can see that these two samples appear to be quite distinct from each other, and we might expect them to have a significant t-test value. However, until we run that test, we can't say for sure, and we want to be able to then assess all of the variables in this data set for significance using the student t-test. Another check I might run before running the t-test is to group by field 1 and field 2 and look at the mean values for each of these variables. To do that, let's run df.groupby. If again we group by field, run the ag method, and then inside we'll pass a list where we want to look at the mean and let's just say standard deviation of all of the variables. And you can see here we're able to quickly see the mean and standard deviation for ID is not very meaningful, but the clay, the organic matter, etc. for the entire data set. Again, maybe not the most visually appealing, but now let's take this sort of approach and compute a t-test where we now compare the mean values for field 1 versus field 2 for each of our analytes. To begin, I want to first do this for the clay sample, and then I'll show you how we can then write a for loop to do it for all of the analytes in this study. So let's make our t-test. So let's just call this t-test. Convert this to a markdown cell, make this a subheader, and let's do it. So this is where the t-test comes in. We have our t-test independent, And inside it takes in a couple of arguments. So we have A and B. These are the two groups of samples that will be stored as a list. We then have to determine if these samples have equal variance. And for the most part, the variance of these sample sets we're going to assume will be true. And then just like that, we're able to compute the t-test for any set of samples. So let's make our arguments. Run df.query, and we're going to set field equal to 1. And for here, let's pass in our analyte, and let's just focus on clay. Let's copy this here, paste it, and let's set field 2. We'll comment this out. And if you look at the output of these samples, you see we now have our field 2 clay values and our field 1 clay values, each stored as a list and ready to be passed into our t-test method. So let's just pass in field 1 and field 2 variables. And that is it. We don't need to pass anything else in. The default parameters work in this case. When we run this, we get 2 outputs. We will get a test statistic. This is from the student t-test significance table, and a p-value. So we're going to assert from this output that the clay values from field 1 were likely coming from a different distribution than the clay values from field 2. Said differently, that these are significantly different from one another, and this is how we can quickly assess that. If we want to understand this test statistic even more, we would then take this value back to a student t-test table and see if it's greater than the critical value. If you want me to explain those sort of concepts more in these videos, comment and let me know. I'll assume you have some understanding, but if that is not the right assumption, again, let me know, and I would be happy to explain some of these underlying concepts even more. So one of the things though is, because we're able to write our own code, we can extend this example for all the analytes in our study. I mentioned before, there is a variable called analytes that has all of our analytes from the study stored as a list. And so let's write a loop that will loop through our analyte list and perform the t-test for the variables from each farm. So to do that, let's start by making a dictionary that we'll use to store these test values. And we'll just call it t-test dict. And what we want to eventually store will be a key, or the analyte, and the p-value resulting from that t-test. Next, let's write a for loop that says for analyte and analytes. So we're going to loop through our analytes list. And let's copy this and make the changes that are necessary. Instead of writing clay here and here, we're going to set this equal to analyte. So this will be whatever we are looping through, and this will be a string from that analytes list here. We will keep our t-test independent, and instead of returning the output, let me show you one thing we could do. We can unpack these variables. And so here t-test is returning both a test statistic and a p-value. We can unpack those just by storing them as 2 separate values, say t and p. And if we look at just t, you see this 19.43 matches this initial value. If you look at p, we now have our p-value resulting from that test, and we can store those separately. So what I want to do is use that same idea here. And lastly, let's make a dictionary. Let's update our dictionary with the analyte value, analyte, as the key, and the p-value as the value in this dictionary, and run this. And just like that, we have computed the t-test for all of the analytes in this study. And so with the exception of EXP, it appears that all the variables are significantly different when we compare the values from field 1 to that of field 2. In the next video, we'll continue to march down some of these fundamental techniques as we continue to explore how we can take what we might have been doing in Excel or trained to do in Excel and write Python code to do that. If there is something you want to see specifically, feel free to let me know. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.